Thursday, and that means that it's time for Tune Into Life, where you look at the stories behind the music, the album, the lyric, the artist, and we learn how to compose our life like a symphony by doing various life hacks. Anyways, today it is Skid Row and Youth Gone Wild. See you in about 4 minutes.
Rolling. Since I was born, they couldn't hold me down. Another misfit kid, another burned out town. I never played by the rules and I never really cared. My nasty reputation takes me everywhere. Well, now look and see, it's not all at me. Tell me the others have stood where I stand. We are the young, we don't have. They call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth, God wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth, God wild. A boss screaming in my ear about who I'm supposed to be. I get a three-piece Wall Street smile, and you look just like me. I said, hey, man, there's something you want to know. Well, I'll tell you, Park Avenue leads to Skid Row. Well, now look and see, it's not only me. We're standing tall, ain't never a doubt. We are the young, so shout it out. They call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth, God wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth, God wild. We're gonna make it wild. They call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth, God wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth, God wild. We are the youth, God wild.
Oh crap, I just realized I spelled Rachel Boland's name wrong. Anyway, if the sound's kind of funky, I'm using a noise gate and I think I set it up wrong. So I will eat the microphone right now. Uh, I want to welcome Andrew and Sandy and Wayne to the show. Thank you very much. I picked that song because I Remember You was a little overplayed and 18 in Life. It's kind of basic, good but basic. And most people, when they think, oh, wait, I forgot to change the logo so you can see my, oh, everybody's going, oh, please hide it. Okay, so we'll hide myself. No, let's go back to the regular one. Okay, there we go. So, hey, Juana in the house. Hey, how come the caption? Oh, they are coming on. They're coming on LinkedIn. They're not coming on Restream. All right. So, anyway, most people think about Sebastian Bach when they think of Skid Row. They've actually been touring and recording. They have a cool thing going now. They have a 3-chapter EP or 3 EPs each chapter. I don't know how you'd say that. Anyway, they're putting out 3 EPs, extended play. I think 5 songs each. They've released the first 2, and they're going to release the third one, and then after that, they're going to release all 3 together with extras. So I'm going to wait. I'm kind of a completist when it comes to music, so I'll wait till they release all 3 EPs, and then they release the 3 EPs plus extras. I'll get the extras. And anyways, the whole point of that is Sebastian Bach's not part of that. If you don't know, mid 90s, they had a little falling out, and I'll tell stories about Sebastian Bach because Sebastian Bach and Skid Row are kind of like David Lee Roth and Van Halen. They didn't get along. They were both kind of arrogant, hedonistic frontmen who did questionable stuff and were kind of obnoxious. Not kind of, they were both very obnoxious. But yet, when you think of a band, my favorite Van Halen lineup is the first one with David Lee Roth. My favorite Skid Row is with Sebastian Bach. However, the new singer, he's pretty dang good. Just like the new singer for Queensryche. Although, to me, Queensryche is with Jeff Tate as the lead. But the new guy's pretty dang good. And the band is more, if we listen to Lisa Marie, their energy is more interlocked. And it's more fun for them. And Jeff Tate's band's pretty good too. His voice is still. Anyways, back to Sebastian Bach. So my favorite memory of Sebastian Bach is when metal was big and VH1, wasn't all about rap and hip hop. They had this series called Supergroup. I think there's only 2 seasons. So the first season was 4 guys who I'll talk about in a second. And then the second season was, unfortunately, Michael Hutchence, lead singer for INXS, committed suicide. And so they had a search for a lead singer. So it was kind of a mesh of America's Got Talent, but focused on finding a lead singer for INXS and Supergroup. And so it was really cool. So the whole band was there and they were auditioning people. And they actually made, it wasn't as good of any of the Michael Hutchence albums, but it's a pretty darn good album with the new singer. So that's cool. But Supergroup had Sebastian Bach as the lead singer, Ted Nugent as the lead guitarist and backup singer, the bass player from Anthrax, so bass and vocals, the rhythm guitarist from Biohazard, and Jon Bon on drums. So that was a supergroup. And I think it was like 8 or 10 episodes. So the whole premise was they had to come together, they had to figure out their sound, they had to figure out a name of the band, they had to put together a set list, they had to practice and play out in clubs and stuff. And then when they came together, put on an album of new music. And so I just remember the first time they practiced together, they put together a set list, and they're playing this gig in Las Vegas. And so here Sebastian Bach is the lead man. And I believe they're doing Stranglehold. And, that is like an iconic lead guitar solo by Ted Nugent. And Ted Nugent's got a pretty big ego. So anyways, the Nuge is playing, Stranglehold. And Sebastian Bach is doing all these gyrations and motions with the thing. And yeah, come on. And all that kind of stuff. And then in the middle of his rant, he's like, this is Ted freaking Nugent. He's playing Stranglehold solo, one of the best solos of all time. And Ted Nugent, you can just see, he's just looking at him like, you're such a fuck up. Anyways, that's one of my favorite memories of Sebastian Bach. And then he went on to do Broadway stuff. He was like in a touring group of Jesus Christ Superstar and some other musicals. So that's kind of a weird path. But Skid Row's back together. They're sounding as good as ever. Not quite as good as they were with Sebastian Bach, but like I said, the new singer's good. I like what I've heard from their first 2 EPs. So go out and get them. Metal's not dead. So let's move on to the first quote of the day, which is from Sebastian Bach. So just because you think Skid Row, Sebastian Bach, no, it's like Rachel Bolan and Dave the Snake Sabo were the founding members. And I'll talk about them in a second because they have the second 2 quotes. But the first quote is, maybe one day I can have a reunion with myself. There's so much in that line. It was in an interview and stuff. And He's obviously older. I think he's in his 50s now. So this is Sebastian Bach I'm talking about. So he's kind of mellowed, but he's still kind of out there, and he can't control his mouth, and just, I guess he's less hedonistic. So he's mellowed out a little. And maybe if they were to start Skid Row with him again, they'd be back together. But I don't know. The remaining members of the band are like, nah, no more Sebastian. And Sebastian's kind of moved on. He did like stints with Gilmore Girls. He did a couple episodes. He's been in movies. He did the voice for who do you do a voice for? It's either himself or a rock star in King of the Hill. So he's been around. He's kind of having a good life, and they're living their life separately. But the life hack we can glean from that is having a sense of self allows us to live life our way. This is the essence of success. If you are living someone else's life, someone else's success, you're not really feeling fulfilled. You're not really, you're not really living it. So that's a great quote by Sebastian Bach. So now I'm going to tell a little story on how Skid Row was formed. It reminds me of my rock days. So Dave, the Snake Sabo, who is the rhythm guitarist and one of the co-founder of Skid Row. So he's working at a music store, and Rachel Bolan comes in. It's a made-up name, and there's all kinds of things of it. So Bolan is the last name of the lead guy of T-Rex, who Rachel Bolan loves. So that's where Bolan came from. And then Rachel is a combination of his grandfather's name and like his favorite uncle or something. And plus, he was really into Alice Cooper, so he wanted a cool stage name. So Bolan for Mark Bolan from T-Rex. Rachel, combination of two names of his favorite relatives. Anyway, so that's why you get Rachel Bolan. So Rachel Bolan comes into this music store, and I guess he's wearing, a red beret and all kind of dressed to the nines, like, an 80's rock star, even though he wasn't a rock star yet. He just had, how some people, they walk in a room and you're kind of like, who the heck are they? I want to know them. They're kind of cool. So Rachel Bolan was kind of like that. And Dave, the Snake Sabo, kind of looked at him and was going, wow, that guy's a rock star already. Anyways, that's how they met. And then they were both looking to form a band. They were in bands already. They like to form a band. So they formed a band. Then they got their lead guitarist, Scott. And then, I can't remember the name of the first drummer. Oh, well, then they got a drummer. Then they had this vocalist who didn't have any pizzazz on stage, if you know what I mean. And he didn't have the chops either. So before, but wait a second. So I think it was Dave, I think it was Sabo. So Sabo also grew up with Jon Bon Jovi. Obviously, Bon Jovi came bigger, faster. And so that actually helped them and hindered them. It's kind of a blessing and a curse, but we'll get to that later. So anyways, so they formed a band, and then through the grapevine, they found Sebastian Bach, who was in Ontario, Canada, and they all pitched their money together and they didn't they did. They paid for his ticket and brought him over. And apparently they should have known, they should have gone, uh-oh. So apparently the first thing is, so he flies in and he comes to, I think it was Dave Sabo's house, and his mom's there, and all these people are there. And it's the first time they meet Sebastian Bach. And the first words out of his mouth as he comes through the door, it's like, yeah, Bach, I'm Sebastian Bach, and I've got a 10-inch, you know what? And so anyways, they should have known something was up. But anyway, so that's how the band formed. And then they, so now we will get to the Bon Jovi before we go to let's do the Sabo quote first. And then we'll come back to the Jon Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora kind of connection. All right. So Dave Snake Sabo said, when it's not fun, that's when we need to either make changes or walk away. There's a lot of y'all out there who don't think fun, business, working should come together. To me, I can't do anything if it's fun. Even when I'm doing program management and information technology projects and different industries, I know that doesn't sound exciting, but I got to have fun. And sometimes engineers and IT people don't know how to have fun, and they kind of look at you, Ben Kilver, we don't think you should be having fun. This is a job. And as far as I'm concerned, you got to have fun wherever you are. So the life hack that leads to, laser pointer, yeah, Wayne, whatever. So when something is not working, you need to make changes or walk away. There's no shame in either. So we talk a lot about being present. on the show. So if you're present to your reality and your passions and your feelings and your emotions, you will get when something is just not right, when you're not feeling it. And then that is your signal to change your attitude, change what's going on, make a change anywhere so that you can move on with your life. And one of those changes could be just walking away. It's like, hey, you know what? It's not working for me. I'm just going to walk away, and then you go do something else. So there you go. And there should be no shame in it. We are who we are. Everybody likes something different. They have different passions. They have different goals. They have different talents. So whatever yours are, just do it. Wayne's giving me the squirrel signal, but I will not. I will not pay attention to the squirrel signal. So anyway, back to Jon Bon Jovi being a friend of Sabo, and they basically made a pact that whoever made, if one, they're both going to go for being rock stars, and if one made it before the other, then the other one would help them. So this did play out. Jon Bon Jovi actually helped him get signed and all that kind of stuff. But where that was a blessing and a curse is a lot of people don't know this because very few artists do this. But Jon Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora, the original background singer and lead guitarist for Jon Bon Jovi, he kind of went off on his own with his wife now. I think the group's called like Sambora's Ghost or something. They're actually pretty good, but I'd rather have Jon Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora together. Anyway, they had a publishing company, so music publishing company, so they'd sign artists. And then just like any other record company, they would take the lion's share of the profits from licensing and selling the music. So David Sabo and Rachel Bolan from Skid Row signed on with the Jon Bon Jovi twins, Sambora and Bon Jovi. And then there were some of their early hits. They didn't make a lot of money because the Jon Bon Jovi company took most of the profits. So I'm not, you could read between the lines. I mean, that's just what publishing companies do, especially in today's world. I was just on a blog on LinkedIn about the music industry and how TikTok and music, they pay a flat fee for using music, and no matter if it's one click, 24 million uses. Like there was a song that there was 24 million uses, but TikTok pays a flat fee. So the publishing company, which is the record company, didn't get their due. It's like, you know what? Publishing company and record company has been screwing artists since the beginning of the music business. I don't feel sorry for them. The more important question is how our music artists can hold on to their intellectual property and make the proper money they make for their performances. To me, that's the real issue. So TikTok, pay the record company, don't pay the record company, I don't really care. So, but that's kind of what happened in the early days of Skid Row. So all their songs were published by Jon Bon Jovi, Sambora Company, and they took a share of the lion's share. So even though Bon Jovi helped them get signed, he also took a lot of their publishing rights and made a lot of money off them, and they didn't make a lot of money off themselves, if that makes sense. And their first album was in '89, so we know what happened in the '90s. Yep, the Seattle sound, grunge took over, and metal took a vacation. And I think '80s hair bands has got a bad deal, bad rep. And technically, depending on what critic you look at, Skid Row was not really an '80s hair band. They came in the end '80s, they're just hard rock. And Rachel Bolan actually said that in a recent interview. Said, yeah, I mean, we're hard rock, whatever you want to call us. We don't care. We like our music. We like playing out. We like writing. We like recording. So call it whatever you want to call it. Just don't call me late for dinner. And so now we'll get on to the last quote from Dave the Snake Sabo. Oh, no, he won't. I did Dave the Snake Sabo. So we're going to get to Rachel Bolan because I consider him the leader of the group. He's the primary songwriter. He's the co-founder of the band with Sabo. And yeah, he's just a really good bassist, really good songwriter. So what he said was, what did he say? I don't know. He said Snake and I. So Dave Savo's nickname is the Snake. So Snake is short for the Snake. Hey, wow, that's really interesting. Snake and I met and started Skid Row in 1986. To have something go on for this long, something I dreamed of doing, something that was a chance meeting at a music store is pretty cool. So that was in a recent interview. Like a lot of people still go, oh, well, what about Sebastian Bach? Okay, move on. The new singer, I believe at this point, has been with them since 22. I think he's been with them for at least 15, 16, maybe 17 years. So he's been with them 3 times as long as Sebastian Bach. So let's everybody move on, shall we? Okay, and he's a pretty good singer, and they put out more music since the first 3 albums too. I would say the first 3 albums are the best, but there you go. So just honor the band. But so that thing of chance, that thing of luck. A lot of people, will look at someone else that's successful, that's actually accomplishing or living the life they think they want to live, or they think they should be living, or they got screwed, or whatever. And they look at them and they go, "Oh, they were lucky." For the most part, most people don't have that kind of luck. It was just happenstance. It was just by chance. It was just by chance that a song fell in their lap and they recorded it, and then people loved it, and then they spent millions, and then they spent millions on merchandise, and they spent millions on concerts, and they spent millions on albums, and we just got rich and blah. No, that rarely happens unless you look at the story of Tom Petty, but we won't go there. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So my favorite word picture in Chinese, I'm not sure if it's Mandarin or Cantonese, but Chinese has symbols like us in the United States, the alphabet A through Z, but they also have word pictures too. And then some of their word pictures are like combinations of different words. So their word picture for luck is opportunity, the word symbol for opportunity, and the word symbol for preparedness. So luck is when opportunity meets preparedness, then you can leverage luck or chance. And so if you're not, lots of us get chances, but if we're not ready for that chance, then the opportunity passes us by and we don't get it. So the people that actually take advantage of that chance opportunity that happens is because they're prepared. They know what they're looking for. They know what we're trying to accomplish, and they see their opportunity. And then there's, it wasn't a Goethe couplet, but a Goethe, I don't know how to say it. Anyways, there's a couplet in the middle, and then it's basically a speech by, who is it? Sir Hilary, that's right, Edmund Hillary, who took up one of the first groups up to the top of, holy crap, what's the highest mountain in the universe? Oh, Mount Everest, hello. So he took his first troop of the Mount Everest and he did a speech, and he included Goethe quote in it. But basically the gist of it, I'm not going to go in the whole thing, but it's one of my favorite quotes, but it's kind of long. But basically the gist of it is that if you look at the opportunities you want to have, you prepare for them, and then you are committed to making it happen, then providence or the universe or chance will provide opportunities and connections that didn't previously exist, or you wouldn't have recognized had you not started on this journey. And so to me, the word picture from Mandarin or Cantonese, I don't know which, but for luck is opportunity and preparedness and when they meet. So what does that say to you? And I'm not even sure what this last life hack is, but that's a life hack too. Know what you want, be clear about it, communicate about it, commit to it, prepare your best for it, and then be open to all the opportunities that present themselves to you. So there you go. And here's the life hack from, we'll look at the Rachel Bolan quote again, and then I'll get to the life hack. So Rachel Bolan quote is Snake, who's Dave Savo, nicknamed the Snake for short. So Snake and I met and started Skid Row in 1986. To have something go on for this long, something I dreamed of doing, something that was a chance meeting at a music store is pretty cool. Darn right, that's pretty cool. And they were open to the opportunity, and they were clear about what they wanted. And they formed a really good band with some really good songs that I love. And so the life hack that comes from that is when you are clear about your dreams and passions, chance will always work in your favor. So you got to be present. You got to be clear about what you want. You got to be open your eyes, open your heart, open your soul. And then you can see when the opportunity presents itself. And then you can embrace that opportunity. And then what other people would call chance or luck, it's just an opportunity. You see it, you are prepared for it. So you glom onto it, and something good happens. And that's success. Okay, boys and girls, shall we review? Certainly. What can I say? So, having a sense of self allows us to live life our way. This is the essence of success. I don't believe you can be successful if you don't know who you are. If you're living someone else's idea of success, there'll always be that little feeling that it's like, am I successful? I don't know. My mom wanted me to be a doctor, so I became a doctor. I'm not really sure I like being a doctor. Whatever it is, you got to live your own life. Lick your own kind of music. Okay, we're not going to go there, especially on the Skid Row thing, but I already did go there. So anyways, the second one was when something is not working, you need to make changes or walk away. There is no shame in either. So just like the chance, you got to see the chance, you got to see the opportunity. So luck, you grab the opportunity, you know who you are, you know what your passions are, and then you leverage those, and then you go, hey, and then you assess the situation. It's like the scientific method. You have a hypothesis and you go, I think this is correct. And now I will look for evidence in the world to support my argument. You got to remove bias though. And then you look around and go, oh, the evidence is not supporting me. So if you have a passion, you have a goal and you're looking for that goal. And then as you're going, it's just like pushing a rope uphill and it's just drudgery. You may want to rethink that. You might go, this isn't what I really want. So then you can change it or you can walk away, and there's no shame in either. You tried, you attempted, you worked your hardest, and that's how you know when something's good or bad. You work your hardest toward it. Okay. And then the last but not least is when you are clear about your dreams and passions, chance will always work in your favor. So just be clear about your purpose. Prepare as best you can. Pay attention when the opportunities present themselves and you can leverage them or take advantage of them, and you will succeed. So that's the show for Skid Row. Sebastian Bach is kind of crazy, and that's okay. Hopefully he meets himself and he gets to relearn himself. Dave Sabo and Rachel Boland are still making great music with their new thing, so check them out. Skid Row, 3 EPs, a 3-chapter series. The first 2 are out, third one's coming. And then after that, they're going to have a combined one. So check it out. And next week, since we talked about Richie Sambora and Jon Bon Jovi so much, next week will be a Bon Jovi song. Which one, pray tell? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? So have a great week. Remember, living your best life creates a better world for everyone. And my outro, play my outro. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Sandy. It says Sandra on her thing, but I call her Sandy. So anyway, thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate it. This is the fun in my life at this point in my life. And so I thank people for using the laser pointer and making me feel like a squirrel or look like a squirrel or sound like a squirrel. But anyways, I will see you on the flip side. This is Mark Benko, or Tune Into Life. Talk to you later. Jon Bon Jovi next week. I don't know why I got the dyslexic thing. It's Jon Jovi. Anyways, Jon Bon Jovi. And here's how I use copyrights and am fair to the artist. Ta-ta for now.